Apparently, there are a lot of heterosexual people who are eager to find out bad news about the LGBTQ plus community. And more specifically, the lesbian community. There was a video by a woman who went viral about a year ago where she was giving a statistic about lesbian divorce. And the information that she stated in the video spread like wildfire. All of a sudden, there were all of these videos reposted of her original video and people giving commentary about the video. And it was a lot of different heterosexual people, especially heterosexual men. They were so excited to do video responses either on TikTok or YouTube about the lesbian divorce rate. They were eager to let the world know that lesbians have the highest divorce rate out of everyone, even heterosexual marriages. And I'm going to play a clip of a video of a woman who gave out this statistic by the source ONS. And turns out that what she said is actually misinformation. It's propaganda. And she even sounds as if she has a grudge against lesbians. But I wouldn't be surprised because I have experience where heterosexual women and even heterosexual men will come to my social media platforms and they love to leave comments about how lesbians have the highest divorce rate and that lesbian marriages will never work out. And I was thinking to myself, why are heterosexual people so adamant about spreading false reports about lesbian marriage and lesbian divorce? Why are they so happy to know that lesbians who are married are getting a divorce or divorced? But I believe it stems from the fact that heterosexual marriages are actually not doing well. And since same-sex marriage became legalized in the United States of America in the year of 2015, at the recording of my video, it's now 2025. And it'll be 10 years come June of 2025 that same-sex marriage became a legalized institution in the United States of America, according to the Supreme Court. But heterosexual people who despise the LGBTQ plus community and they despise quote unquote gay marriage, they're the ones who love to learn that same-sex attracted marriages are failing and that they are ending up in divorce. But specifically, they love to focus on lesbian divorce. And I just think that if more heterosexual people will pay attention to their own marriages, then they wouldn't have time to worry about lesbian marriages and lesbian divorce. But I'm going to go ahead and play a video clip, which is from about a year ago.
From the Office of National Statistics, from a 2019 study, in ever-increasing numbers, we are now at a lesbian divorce rate of 72%. So the top 4 reasons that they are reporting getting divorced is feeling ignored, inequality in the partnership, adultery, and domestic violence. Personally, I feel like this lends some weight to men's arguments and complaints about how women are behaving in relationships. Because when you have lesbian divorce statistics that look like that, the girls are kind of telling on themselves.
I will say that she sounds a bit bitter about lesbians, and she also sounds very male-centered because she was focusing on how men who complain about their marriages with women being a reason why heterosexual marriages fail is due to the fact that women are the culprit. She seems very supportive of that male perspective, and she seemed as if she was very focused on wanting to know about lesbian divorce, which really doesn't make any sense, because why are you eager to report about lesbian divorce and then you actually criticize women and then support men in your statement on the end that women are an issue in marriage? She sounds very misogynistic. She sounds also homophobic, and she's very male-centered. I'm not surprised because, as I mentioned, there are heterosexual people who will make every effort to come to lesbian, gay, bisexual, and LGBTQ plus spaces, whether it's on social media or if it's even just any type of organizations or community that we have. You will always see heterosexual people make their way over to where we are, and they love to spread lies and gossip, and they love to inform us that heterosexual people are superior to homosexual or bisexual people. And I just really believe that heterosexual people, they are constantly in a gender war, a gender battle between each other. And they want to be able to take a lot of their anger out on the lesbian, gay, and LGBTQ plus communities, which proves to me that heterosexual people in their heterosexual marriages are very dysfunctional because of the way that they think. They have a very ill-mannered way of thinking about minority groups of people. They love to marginalize people who are different from them. And they do not take the time to really research and study and report the truth. Lesbian divorce, although there are reports about lesbian divorce, the information that she has retrieved is propaganda and it's not accurate. And I'm going to actually play another video which will give you accurate information about lesbian divorce. And it just also will clarify how people are so against same-sex attracted marriages. And especially when it comes to women in lesbian marriages. They're very obsessed with lesbians. And I believe that it's twofold, because lesbians are females and lesbians are same-sex attracted females. And we live in a patriarchal society where males love to dominate women and the world. And women who have fallen for the devices of patriarchal men are led to the slaughter. And they've turned against themselves as women. And they are not able to appreciate diversity in women. Every woman is not a heterosexual woman. There are lesbian women, and lesbian women tend to be discriminated against because we are not male-centered. We are not attracted to men or males. And in a patriarchal society, men desire to be favored, and they view themselves as superior to women. And women who actually fall in line with the patriarchal mindset, they behave and think in the same way as their male heterosexual counterparts. And this is why, as lesbians, we are focused on, to the degree where people will falsify information about the lesbian demographic. I will proceed with showing you a video which is actually going to give you accurate information about lesbian divorce.
Let me just clear something up. There is not a 72% divorce rate among lesbians, and this is exactly how misinterpreted data can spread like wildfire, especially on platforms like TikTok and now on YouTube. This one really gets under my skin, and I'm going to tell you what this data really is, and you're seriously not even going to believe it. But first, let's see this video by Jenny of All Trades on TikTok, and this went viral and currently has 1.9 million views as of yesterday.
I had to look it up. From the Office of National Statistics from a 2019 study, in ever-increasing numbers, we are now at a lesbian divorce rate of 72%.
And then you even see people reposting her video and saying things like this: lesbians have a 75% divorce rate. Maybe women are unhappy because they aren't good at relationships, or they are professional victims. You choose. And this person with the name Woodzone says, proof men aren't the main problem in relationships, and his got 795,000 views. And here I could show you that about 3 weeks ago people went nuts about this topic on YouTube, so men could prove that this shows that women are the problem in relationships. My name's Katie, by the way. I'm a licensed therapist. Please hit subscribe and help me out. Now, you're not even going to believe
The young lady doing this video, her name is Katherine Sloan. She is a licensed therapist, according to her YouTube channel and, of course, her introduction of herself. Now, she was stating what I mentioned about heterosexual men who are very obsessed with lesbians, and they are really aiming and targeting lesbian divorce. And their motive behind attacking lesbians who are married is they want to believe that lesbian marriage will fail and end up in lesbian divorce. Their motives behind this is because I believe the majority of heterosexual men are angry because they don't have access to lesbians. And they would hate to know that lesbians are more successful in their romantic relationships with women than men are in their relationships with women. In other words, I believe heterosexual males who are so focused on lesbians in their relationships, they are competing against lesbians. But lesbians are not even concerned about heterosexual men. We could care less what you're doing in your relationship as a heterosexual couple. But heterosexual men and even heterosexual women, they want to see the downfall of same-sex attracted marriages. And men, heterosexual men, they're competing all by themselves because lesbians are not concerned about the welfare of heterosexual marriage because we're focused on our own relationships.
How unsubstantiated this claim is, and I'm just here. I could show you that about 3 weeks ago people went nuts about this topic on YouTube, so men could prove that this shows that women are the problem in relationships. My name's Katie, by the way. I'm a licensed therapist. Please hit subscribe and help me out. Now, you're not even going to believe how unsubstantiated this claim is, and I'm just going to point out 3 things about this. And I'm so happy to show you how she got this wrong, and I'm going to tell you why the lesbian divorce rate really tells us nothing about failed heterosexual marriages. Number 1, now when she says that the statistics are from the Office of National Statistics, the ONS, what she doesn't say is that these statistics are from the UK, England and Wales. And I'm not sure if this matters to any of you, but I bet a lot of people thought these were statistics from the US or some sort of national statistic that covered all lesbian divorces. Number 2, where did she get this 72%? Where did this number come from? Well, what it really says is there were 822 divorces among same-sex couples in 2019. Of these, nearly 3/4, 72%, were between female couples. This is not a divorce rate. What is 72% of 822 divorces? It's 591 divorces by lesbians in England and Wales in 2019. The way they calculate the divorce rate is per 1,000 couples, which there weren't even 1,000 couples who got divorces, so here it would be like 0.2%. And it also says that there were 107,599 divorces of opposite sex couples in 2019. That's 9.2 divorces per 1,000 marriages. So if you put it that way, opposite sex couples in the UK had a divorce rate that is 45 times higher than lesbian couples in 2019. So let me summarize. There were 591 lesbian divorces in England and Wales in 2019 and 107,599 divorces by heterosexual couples in 2019. So that 72% is the percentage of lesbian divorces out of 822 same-sex divorces.
Do you hear the staggering distinction between heterosexual marriages? That means marriages between a male and a female. Heterosexual marriage, they have a staggering amount of divorces in just one part of the world. In Wales, as she said, this is a specific region. This is not even in the United States of America. There's over 100,000 divorces among heterosexual couples. And the statistic that was given about the 72% divorce rate among lesbians is not accurate. The 72% is actually among, like she mentioned, the 800, it was under 1,000 same-sex attracted marriages. So that means marriages between men and marriages between women. So you're looking at homosexual marriage and lesbian marriage. There was a number, I think it was around 881 total gay marriages between men being married to a man and women being married to a woman. In Wales, they measure divorce rates every 1,000 divorces. So there were less than 1,000 divorces in the year of 2019 among same-sex attracted marriages. And out of that 800 and something number, 591, I believe that was the number, amounted to the lesbian divorces compared to the divorces between men who were married to men. So said that 72% number basically means that the lesbian marriages ended up in divorce compared to the gay marriages between men. And that is only in Wales, in a whole nother country. That's not even the United States. The United States of America has nothing to do with that 72% number of lesbian divorces. And keep in mind, that is only comparing same-sex attracted marriages. So between men and women who are married to the same sex. That number is extremely minute. In Wales, they had less than 1,000 divorces between same-sex attracted couples compared to heterosexual marriages, which was over 100,000. And that's why she gave you that quote that's basically proving that heterosexual marriages fail 45 times more than gay marriages. And that's in a whole nother area, not even in the United States of America. So as you can see how people run with a statistic, as that woman did in her original video, saying that 72% of lesbian divorce. And she did not even give you the details of where it was located or the breakdown of it. So again, she was giving propaganda. So that's why you need to research for yourself. But people who are opposed to same-sex attracted marriages, and specifically lesbian marriages, they love to know that lesbians are not prospering in their marriages. So all they care about is bad news, and they distort and fabricate and falsify the information.
Number 3, if you read further down in this census, it says very clearly the relatively small number of divorces among same-sex couples does not allow accurate rates to be calculated at present. So please don't believe everything you hear on the internet. Now, why is this chatter and gossip so damaging to lesbians, and why do I even care so much to go on the defensive about this? It's because there's already so much misinformation and stigma around the LGBTQ community, and this type of misinformation just only makes it worse. Some people will just go on to believe this statistic forever and ever because they'll never fact check it, and some queer kid out there is going to hear his parents say this, and he's going to think that he or she or they might not ever be able to be in a healthy relationship, and then it just becomes some self-fulfilling prophecy. Gay marriage in the U.S. has only been legal for 10 years, so we can't get accurate data on the divorce rate for same-sex couples in the U.S. Many of the states don't even collect data on the gender of the people in the marriages, so I'm not sure if we're actually ever really going to know. Any data you can get about the divorce rate is from studies done on couples looking at other things like predictors of relationship dissolution in LGBTQ and heterosexual adoptive parents. And when it comes to the divorce rate for lesbians being higher than gay men, we do know why that is, and this has been researched, and it's due to men being older when they get married. They're less likely to have kids, and we know that having kids causes more stress in marriages, and they make more money, which means they have less financial stress. And I'm going to leave a link to this research in the description. Now, the divorce rates for lesbians are all over the place. So in Norway, the Netherlands, and Sweden, it does show that the divorce rate is higher for lesbians than heterosexual couples. But in Denmark, it's half the rate of heterosexual couples, and in the UK, it's very low, actually. Like I said, in 2019, it's 0.2 divorces per 1,000 same-sex couples that got divorced that year. But even if the divorce rate is high for lesbian couples, that says nothing at all about women being able to be blamed for the heterosexual divorces. And this is because of people not taking into account what's called minority stress in lesbian relationships, and in particular, Black lesbian couples who experience double minority stress. I'll show you one of these studies here that reviews how minority stress affects same-sex couples. I'm not going to go into details about what this says, but I will leave a link to it in the description if you want to read it. I want you to always...
Now, what she said about minority stress is very accurate. And I've done my own research on lesbian divorce, as well as the reason behind why among gay marriages, why lesbian divorce occurs in higher numbers than gay males. And the reasoning, the number one reasoning behind it is because males earn more income than females. And this is an actual fact. Even if you are a homosexual male, you earn more income than a lesbian female. And there's actual research and statistics regarding lesbians who actually have children of their own. And in comparison to gay males may not have children, or they may not have custody of their children. So the responsibility is on the women when it comes to children and raising children. And she mentioned about Black lesbians, and she said that there is a such thing as minority stress, and it's double minority stress among Black lesbians. And that makes sense because Black lesbians experience even higher amounts of discrimination because of them being women, and them being lesbians, and them being Black lesbian women. Black lesbian women will have more distinctive struggles than women who are lesbians who are white or Caucasian or non-Black. And when you compare Black lesbian relationships and marriages to a marriage of gay men, and these gay men, if for example they are white or Caucasian, they actually don't experience prejudice and racism like Black lesbians would. And again, you want to consider they are probably in a position where they earn more money, where they're economically advantaged over Black lesbians. So there's a lot of different nuances that people are not considering when it comes to marriage and relationships. And in general, collectively, as gays, lesbians, or people who are in the LGBTQIA plus community, because we experience hardship that heterosexual people do not experience due to our sexual orientation, we experience emotional and mental as well as economical distress and disadvantages that heterosexual people do not ever encounter. So if there are divorces that occur among same-sex attracted couples, then we, for one, have already been discriminated against just because of our sexual orientation. And when we go into a marriage between same-sex partners, the pressure and the responsibilities that they undergo are a bit nuanced and more complicated than a heterosexual marriage. And you also want to keep in mind that heterosexual people, they have so much of an advantage to benefit in their marriages because we live in a heteronormative society. They have so much support for their marriages, and they have people and resources that they can depend on and rely upon to learn how to have a successful marriage. Whereas if you are a lesbian or gay person or same-sex attracted person, that type of support and resources are very scarce, and they're looking to see the downfall of same-sex attracted marriages because many heterosexual people are very angry that gay marriage is legal in different parts of the world. And I do want to highlight that the ONS statistic is not even in the United States of America. Gay marriage has not been legal at the recording of this video for more than 10 years. It's been less than 10 years that gay marriage has been legal. And generally, the statistics that are garnered, it takes a minimum of 10 years to get some reliable information about a specified group of people. So that source ONS is not even about the United States of America. It's in a whole nother country. So again, you want to make sure that you do your research and that you do not rely on one person to give you such important information about a specific group of people, and in this case, lesbians, regarding lesbian divorce.
Minority stress in lesbian relationships, and in particular, Black lesbian couples who experience double minority stress. I'll show you one of these studies here that reviews how minority stress affects same-sex couples. I'm not going to go into details about what this says, but I will leave a link to it in the description if you want to read it. I want you to always be on alert for false information, especially when somebody's citing statistics, especially when it comes to minority groups. So always fact check your information and know that you definitely can have a healthy, loving, and long-lasting marriage.
I 100% agree with her. Always fact check. I am big on research. I am big on the source, the evidence, the proof, and the outcome. Because as you can see, there are so many people who are in the heterosexual community who are spreading lies about the lesbian community. And if you notice, they don't want to talk about successful lesbian marriages. They only wanted to talk about lesbian divorce, and they couldn't even get those statistics right. I was looking at some statistics about heterosexual marriage, and I've actually reported this before on my YouTube channel, and it was actually talking about heterosexual marriage and how men are the ones who initiate divorce, but they don't file divorce. So there's also a lot of fabrication about women, meaning heterosexual women, are the ones who initiate divorce. And that actually is not correct. Men are the ones who initiate divorce, and initiate divorce meaning they are the ones who verbally request to divorce, but they do not follow through on the divorce for various reasons, because they understand that divorce may be expensive, and they also do not want to take on the responsibility of finalizing a divorce due to expenses, as well as they may be concerned about the responsibility of custody and or child support. And in many cases, they do not want to lose out financially on a divorce, because when they have a wife, and if they have a wife and children, then in many cases, women will benefit from the divorce. So although men initiate the divorce, meaning they verbally want a divorce, and their reasons for wanting the divorce may vary, but the point I'm trying to make is that women, heterosexual women, will make every effort in most cases to try to keep their marriage together. But men are more likely to destroy or end their marriage. And one of the reasons why the marriages between men and women don't work is because of infidelity and financial reasons. But I will provide a actual quote statistic about this truth, that men are the ones who initiate divorce in heterosexual women, but the women are the one who end up filing for divorce in heterosexual marriage. They end up filing for divorce because the marriage never improves, and many of these women are abandoned by their husband. Their husbands may have left the home and left the woman without any income to be able to support herself and the children that he has had with her. And because the heterosexual males are wanting to escape the responsibility of being a husband in a marriage to a woman, then they do not file divorce. And so ultimately, when the woman realizes that the heterosexual marriage is not improving, things are getting worse, she ends up finally deciding to file for divorce. And well, that's just the truth about heterosexual marriage. And I agree that there is lesbian divorce, but there is a lot of misinformation, false reports about the truth about lesbian divorce. And ultimately, if heterosexual people will work on their marriages, then they will not have time to be concerned about lesbian marriage and especially lesbian divorce. I am Giselle Wallace, certified life coach and author. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and share the video, support the YouTube channel. You can actually click on the thanks button and you can provide monetary support to the YouTube channel. This will benefit myself as a lesbian life coach and the services that I provide for the lesbian community and the LGBTQIA plus community. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe. Have a great day.